What Alex Morris did recently would sound to a lot of people like a dream job. She devoted 12 months to learning as much as she could about some of the most captivating creatures in the sea, seals. Alex Morris is a science writer in Maine, and she has written about her research and experiences in her new book, A Year with the Seals. She describes seals as both charismatic and controversial, and admits she probably wouldn't have written about them if they weren't so irresistibly cute.
That is true. Most likely. There's something about that charisma that definitely drew me to this topic, in addition to a number of other things. But yes, I will give you that. The cute, charismatic seals definitely are a draw.
What humans find so compelling about seals is usually their big, irresistible eyes, which it turns out have helped protect the seal population.
There have been studies that show that people are willing to give more conservation funding to causes for wildlife that have large eyes, and so it's just sort of a funny aspect of their biology.
The other feature that we typically find endearing is their whiskers. Something I learned from the book is that their whiskers aren't say like a cat's whiskers, they're more almost like porcupine quills, you write.
Right. The whiskers are these incredibly sensitive kind of sixth sense for seals, and they can actually pick up the movements of fish in water and the speed at which they're moving and the direction, and so it makes them these incredible hunters.
Seals are common on the coast of Maine, fairly easy to find. But not long ago, just in the early 1970s, they had been hunted in New England almost to extinction.
It was really decades of state-sponsored bounty hunts in Massachusetts and Maine to just truly annihilate seal populations. So by the early 1970s, harbor seals were almost non-existent, and gray seals were pretty much extirpated from these waters.
Environmental laws changed in the 1970s. Seals got protection. They could not be harassed. They could not be hunted. And that led to a dramatic rebound in the seal population in the Northeast, right?
Yes, yeah. So since 1972, when the Marine Mammal Protection Act went into place, seal populations, and specifically gray and harbor seals, they have rebounded dramatically. And so it really is this sort of remarkable conservation success story.
When you set out to write this book, what was the story that you thought you wanted to tell?
I think when I started, I was surprised that seals were controversial in any way. That was something that sort of drew me to the story.
The controversy stems from a natural conflict, namely that seals want to eat and do eat what fishermen want to catch.
At the end of the day, the controversies with seals really have nothing to do with seals, that it has to do with humans, with competing interests and values.
People who think that seals are adorable are people who have never suffered personal financial loss because of what the seals do.
You have to sort of think about that, and I always liken it to how I feel about deer and squirrels and things that are munching on my vegetable garden, and the fury that I have over that, when again, it's animals doing what animals do.
We have a lot of seals here in Maine. Perhaps the most common image, though, that people get is of...
1 second, because he just showed us.
We had come to Fort Popham thinking we had a pretty good chance of seeing a seal here. We were not disappointed. You really dug deep into this subject, but when you're just out having fun, relaxing on the coast of Maine, and you're looking out on the water and you suddenly see a seal pop its head up out of the water, what's your reaction?
Joy, I would say, yes. It's always fun for me to see the seals after spending so much time trying to track them down and trying to understand them and really trying to figure out what we know and what we don't know. I see them and I still think about the mysteries, which is always kind of a fun way to kind of marvel at the natural world. As mentioned, we did that interview at Fort Popham in Phippsburg, where the Kennebec River flows into the Atlantic. It can be a good place to see seals. And again, the name of Alex Morris's book is A Year with the Seals.